So we're going to talk about mental illness in this video because mental illness is a major issue, and yeah, it needs to be addressed. All of the world's issues. I don't even want to say issues or like because like I said, like remember I told you guys like I have to I don't want to I don't I'm trying to speak in a certain way because I don't want to cast any spells or I don't want to relay to you guys false information because the world really doesn't have issues. Like people say the world has issues, the world has problems, we're going through all of the like no, like people have issues, people have mental illness, and people are projecting their mental illness. So I don't want to say the world has, there's nothing wrong with the world per se. You may not like certain shit about the world, but the world is functioning and operating as it's supposed to. That's what I say. That's what I mean when I say there's nothing wrong with the world. Like there's certain things I hate about the world, but it's operating as it should. But as far as people projecting mental illness, that's something that's not supposed to be happening. And there's a lot of that going on. And you may say the world has issues because somebody has mental illness. But no, that person has issues and they're creating hell for themselves in the process of giving you the illusion that the world is going through hell. You see, like mental health is a major problem right now in society, and it's like at this point I don't even explain myself to anyone. It's like I was having an argument yesterday with a relative, and it wasn't an argument, but it was kind of like because they were telling me certain shit, and then they will talk about something, right? They'll like mention something, but then when I try to elaborate on why I do the shit I do, or I'm trying to speak my part, they will tell me, "Oh, you don't have to go all there. It's not that deep." But it's like you brought the situation up, so yeah, I do have to really speak on it. And if you don't want me to speak about it, then why the fuck did you bring it up? So it's like it's kind of weird. So I was like, I realized it's like I don't know, man. That's why I tell you, you don't explain yourself to anybody at all, because everyone's on their own. And I'm not saying that this relative has mental health, because it was just like a little back and forth. It wasn't nothing like serious, because I don't get into serious arguments like that, because I don't deal with certain energies. So when you don't put yourself in certain energies and you don't deal with certain people, then you're by default not gonna have certain issues and problems because you're not dealing with those people. So, like me, I stay away from mental health cases. Anyone that has a mental health case, I stay the fuck far away from because they're people like that are liable to set you behind on your path. A lot of people they'll always tell you, "Oh, this person killed this person, or this person robbed somebody, or this person did this person did that," and they always make you look at them like they're like the problem. Which don't I'm not saying it's right to do bad things, but they never look at it like a lot of dudes or even people in general. A lot of people in general who kill people, who commit serious assault and have to be in jail for a long time, a lot of the time, or some of the time, I would say, a lot of these people, if they weren't around, if they had the awareness and they weren't around certain people, they wouldn't have had certain emotions and triggers flared up for them to commit these crimes, for them to be in jail. This is why you have to take responsibility to not be around certain energies, because you know people have mental illness. And when you are around people with mental illness, if you have an underlying mental illness, it will flare that up and then it will cause you to respond, and then now you're in jail. Because niggas will always be like, "Oh, you a bitch, you this, you that." But it's like, it's good to be a bitch, because if you went and got a gun and shot him in the fucking head in the middle of the town square, then you're gonna be in jail. I'd rather be a bitch than be in jail. You see what I'm saying? It's weird. People, they only want to do shit when it's to their convenience. Like I remember I was in school in 7th grade, and it was some kid, and I was just hella dumb and programmed, and I had told the teacher like, oh, he did this, and the teacher's like, why do you have to snitch and tattletale? And then from that point on, I've thought of it like, okay, like I'm not gonna like, I guess the teacher doesn't care if you do bad things because I told on the kid and he didn't get in trouble. So then from that point on, that's when I started like not giving a fuck about rules and law. And like I would do things because I assume like they don't really care. Cause I snitched on this kid. It was something petty. It wasn't nothing major. And I guess we weren't supposed to go in this certain area. And I was like, oh, he went there. And the teacher's like, why do you got to be a tattletale? It was like a substitute teacher's like, why do you got to be a tattletale? And then from that point on, I was like, okay, like I started not really having respect for laws and rules because I didn't think it was that serious. So like if somebody left like some candy there, like I remember it was this white bitch in like 7th grade. It's like one of the first things I ever stole, some cookies from this white girl's bag because they were giving out free stuff. And like I stole her cookies and she was crying and shit. And like this was after the situation when I snitched. And because I didn't care about laws and rules anymore, because I was like, if the teacher didn't care if I so-called tattletale, why should I care about other things? So I just thought it wasn't that serious. So I took the thing, and then the girl, she was crying and shit. She's like, oh, who took my cookies? I like those cookies. And that was like the first thing I remember stealing. And then that's when I didn't look at it like it was bad. I just looked at it like it's not that serious. Because when I went and snitched and tattletaled on the other kid, like a few months ago, the teacher said I was a tattletale. And mind your business. So I assumed like it wasn't that much of a big deal. So therefore, like I realized like, okay, who gives a fuck? So I took that thing and then other things I just did. And based upon that mindset, when I did a lot of these things, I rarely got in trouble for it. Not to say I never did get in trouble, but I rarely got in trouble because my perception and my thought about certain things. Because when you think a certain way, then it kind of creates the reality. Like the thought creates the reality. That's why I tell you guys, anything you do, you want to really think. I'm not telling you guys to use it for negative, but like I said, you want to like have a certain emotion and you want to have a certain thought, because with that thought and emotion, it creates certain reality. So if you think something, then it's gonna end up being in that way. Like you just try it out. So the reason I'm saying all this shit is because I fucking feel like it, and I'm just ranting. If you have a problem, you can click the fuck off the video. I don't give a shit. But yeah. But yeah, man, I'm gonna talk about mental illness in this video. Yeah. I also want to talk about fasting because I realized like the longer I go without fasting, the more I feel like I'm exposed to mental illness. This is why I think I love about fasting is it it allowed you to kind of like create a more peaceful reality. Not to say fasting is easy or you're gonna always want to do it. You want to get yourself to the point where it's you want to do it. And that may take time for people, but eventually you will get there. But like I said in the beginning, it's gonna get tough. But I realize when you fast a lot, it allows you to create the reality. I don't want to say create the reality because I hate that word create. Because you're not creating a reality. You didn't create this fucking reality. It allowed you to experience a certain reality. That's what I want to say. Experience a reality. It allows you to experience a reality. And when you experience this reality, you're tapping into something better. So when you fast more, you're able to experience a different type of reality. I don't want to say better or worse because I don't want to get into these words to kind of confuse you. This is all an experience we're having. So nothing is good, nothing is really bad. But you got to understand there are experiences you want to have and your spirit needs to grow, which I guess you can call that good because growth, evolution is the only really true good thing. Everything else is just whatever. But when you fast more, you're able to experience more better realities. So I notice when I don't fast as much, like I kind of start I start creating experiences where I'm dealing with a lot of mental illness. And I've been like a couple weeks off my fast, and I've noticed like a little bit of mental illness seeping into my reality. So this is right now the spirit telling me you need to get back on this fast, because when I ended my 30, I think it was like 22-day fast. This next one I'm about to do a 31. When I ended my 22-day fast a couple weeks ago, I noticed when I ended that fast, I was experiencing a certain reality, like because the way I was feeling emotionally and mentally. When you change how you feel emotionally and mentally, then everything by default changes. You don't have to work for anything. Like all these idiots out here talking about, if you want to do this, you got to have this discipline. You got to wake up in the morning at 7 in the morning. You got to, all that's bullshit. If you change your emotions, your thought, then everything comes with it. Even waking up at 7 in the morning, you'll automatically want to and automatically do it because the emotion and feeling you're in. So I noticed like after these last couple weeks, I kind of went. I haven't been fasting. Like the last fast I did was a couple weeks ago. Usually I do it every week. So I noticed mental illness is seeping in because I was at the. You guys see me. I was at the game yesterday, and when I went to the game like a couple weeks ago, the energy was different. But it wasn't that the energy was different. Like a lot of you guys say, oh, the energy. No, it's not the energy. It's the emotion and the thought you're in. So you're gonna track certain things. So yesterday when I went to the game, I noticed it was different. Like I went there to go eat the food, right? And I noticed the people who I ordered, like anytime you're ordering food, never eat food or order food from somebody who's miserable. And that's another thing I want to get into is miserable people and how to spot miserable people, because I spot miserable people all the time, and I'm going to tell you like different ways I did it. But if you see somebody who's miserable, you never want to eat their food because at the game, I ordered food from 3 people, and 2 of those people were miserable. They had a nasty energy, and they were. It wasn't nasty towards me. Like they not like they were mad at me or disrespecting me. It's just they were miserable, and I could feel it kind of brush off on me. But I can tell they were mad and upset, probably because they don't want to be there, or maybe something happened in their life, so they just had a fucking shit ass attitude. So it was kind of rubbing off on me, and the food that I ordered from them that they gave to me tasted like shit. And I got some popcorn. I have to throw away the whole popcorn because it was burnt. It smelled old as fucking stale. Like they just, I don't know where they popped this popcorn at, fucking India or something. So I had to throw that shit in the garbage can. It was only $2, so I didn't really care. And yeah, it wasn't good. And then I had the chicken strips and the fries. That shit tasted like the chicken was kind of cold. The fries were like warm because they have to get that shit right because it would have been a problem. So the fries they just made, but the chicken strips, that shit tasted cold. So it wasn't good. And then the bitch who like gave me the food, she like had a nasty ass, ratchet ass attitude. Like, come on, bitch. Like, why are you so upset? Like, why are you, if you're upset, don't be here. So that wasn't good. But then the pretzel I got, that was the best thing I had. And the guy had a good ass attitude. Last time when I was there, um, they didn't have something, but I had already paid. And that same guy was like, "You can get anything you want," because I had already paid. So he let me get something that's like $5 more because he was just chill. So that tasted good because he had a good energy. So you always want to deal with people who have good energy, and don't eat food from people who have negative energy. And I learned this yesterday. So from now on, I will never, because before I used to kind of like not think of it that serious, but I'm not doing that shit anymore because anytime you eat food from somebody that's negative, the food is either not going to taste good, or even if it tastes good, when you eat it, something may happen to you. Like you may like, I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to say anything may happen because we don't want to like put curses and spells, but you just don't want to eat anything that somebody gives you that's negative, because there are miserable people out there. And when somebody is miserable, it has nothing to do with their situation. Like you may see somebody working at McDonald's and you say, "Oh, they're miserable because they're working at No, they're not miserable because they're working at McDonald's. They're miserable because they're weak as fuck and they're a miserable person." Because one thing I realize about life is when I go into like Like I went to Sprouts the other day, right? To get some groceries and like some water and fruit and shit. And there was this lady, like right when I went into the store, she just looking at me like I'm about to steal something. And I could see her for the corner of my eye. So I'm like, okay, why is this bitch looking at me? I turn around. She has the most nastiest, like miserable looking, like bitch face look that one can have. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, this bitch is miserable. But when I was there, when I seen her, I was like, she must be mad at me, or she must be think I'm stealing. That's why she has that attitude. But then I was wrong, because later on, like it was like a week later, I went to the same store and she was by herself stocking groceries. And when I looked at her, she had the same bitch face look and nobody was around her. So that shows me that she's just a miserable person. That situation prior had nothing to do with me. She just a miserable person because she was by herself stocking groceries. And then somebody will say, oh, she's upset because she's working at a. That's not what it is. We need to stop saying, oh, you're upset because you're homeless, or you're upset. That's not, because I the reason I say this is there's another black lady that works at that same Sprout, and she's looks like she could be a little bit older. She has a very nice attitude. Very nice. I will always say something like respectful to her. If I'm like at a, let's just say I'm at a place where you have to tip people. If the person, I don't, if a person, I always tip people based upon their energy. I respect people. Like if I see a homeless person and they're in a wheelchair and they're homeless and they're in a good mood and they're smiling, I will give them like $20. When I see a homeless person and they look angry and miserable and upset, those are the people I don't give money to. If I'm at a grocery store and you look miserable, like you don't want to be there, and and you looking at me with an attitude, I'm gonna make your life even more. I'm gonna be like, you broke ass bitch. That's why you work at that retail. I'm gonna make your shit even more because you're a weak person. This is why I say miserable, mentally ill people. It has nothing really to do. I don't want to say completely, but 80% of the time, it has nothing to do with the situation they're in. It has everything to do with their spirit. They have a weak ass spirit. They can't handle life. So they're like, oh, my life sucks, so I'm gonna be miserable. No, your life sucks because you're weak. Because there's other people in your situation that are able to smile. So those are the people I respect. Those are the people I tip. Like I was at the Walgreens the other day, and like I have my fucking intuition is on point. Like I literally like because when I go into a store, I automatically look at like people just so I can like get the energy of like what's going on. There was this one old ass white bitch. I didn't even look at her face. I just seen her legs, and that was it. It was her legs and her arm. I didn't see her face because she was turned around. I looked at her for like a split second. As soon as I looked at this old ass nasty attitude, Respucia, 101 Dalmatian, evil looking bitch, as soon as I looked at her fucking raggedy ass, I automatically knew she was a demon. She was a negative entity. I automatically knew. You know how I knew is because I was able to sense the aura. When people say, "Oh, I read," or it's not about reading, it's about sensing. I was able to sense it. So I looked at her for like literally less than a second. I was like, okay, I gotta watch out for her. She's a bitch. I went into the Walgreens, did my thing, and when I was checking out, I looked at her face for the first time. When I looked at this bitch's face, she looked so nasty, and I was talking to her because I had a lot of shit in my. Well, I was trying to distract her, so because I had a lot of shit, so I had to distract her. So I was trying to talk and have small conversation just to take her mind somewhere else. But I wasn't doing it because I give a fuck about her. I was doing it just so it could take her attention off certain things I wanted her attention off. So when I was talking to this stupid ass bitch, she was just like had a negative, nasty attitude. But I was only talking to her just to distract her. But she has such a nasty attitude, like you can kind of tell she was like had an energy, like why is he talking to me? But like she didn't know I'm talking to you so I can distract you so you don't see things I don't want you to see. So she was like kind of like, but she was distracted though. But she just like, you could tell she was like, she didn't want to talk and shit. And I was like, bitch, I don't want to talk to you too, but I'm just distracted. So I was talking to her and then I walked out and everything was good. But the reason I told you guys is because I knew she had a nasty energy. But when I came into the store, I didn't even see her face at all. I did not see her face. I just seen her arms and her legs. So it just shows you like this shit is crazy. Like I'm telling you, once you really like train your intuition body, emotional body to be able to sense, then you're going to be able to know these things. Like it's so, and it's such a very useful tool to be able to read people's energy. Is very, very, very useful because this allowed you to steer yourself away from people who are negative. You don't want to be around people who are negative or they don't have anything good to offer. So it's a very good tool to build up your intuition. Cause it's to a point right now where if I see you for like 2 seconds, less than 2 seconds, like the moment I look at somebody, I can know if they're a piece of shit. Because you got to remember, everything starts in the mind. Everything starts in the spirit, but then the spirit creates the mind. And whatever you think is what becomes physical. So your actions, your facial features, the way you look, the way you walk, the way you talk, everything physical about the person, even the physical situation they're in, the house they stay in, the type of food that it all stems from the mind. So once a person has a very negative, toxic mind, and you can pick up on that, then you know every action that they do connects to this type of mind. So if you're a piece of shit, the type of food, the type of way you walk, the type of color, the type of things you're doing, the body language, the way you speak, your voice, the tone, is going to have a certain connection to that certain thought. If you're a positive person with good energy, you're somebody who is in alignment, just is going to have a certain connection. Body language, the way you talk, the way you move your hand. So I can pick up on this instantaneously. So I don't even have to look at the person's face. I could just look at their body, the way it stands. Because this was an old ass lady. So if you're an old person, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's easier, but I can tell an old person because an old person, they're really able to project. They project differently because an old person is either extremely happy or extremely miserable. It's rarely gray in between because an old person is they're either in a situation where they feel fulfilled. I've lived my life. I'm 80 years old and I was able to accomplish, or they're miserable and they haven't done shit and they feel regret. So it's either or for an old person. This old lady, she was working at Walgreens. So you can tell she hates her life. I don't want to say it's because she's working at Walgreens. It's because there's people who work at Walgreens who are happy. It's not because she works at Walgreens. It's because she has a weak spirit. So she can't handle being 80 working at Walgreens, so she has to be miserable. She can't turn lemon to lemonade. So these are people who are she probably gonna stay working at Walgreens versus somebody who's happy to be there, her age. They'll have a situation where they'll probably be out of that situation because they're not so enamored in their trauma, in their ego, because trauma is ego. So it's crazy, man. That's why I say, you guys, you want to build up your intuition. You want to build up your intuitive abilities, because it's a tool that can help you. And sometimes it helps me to the point where I know how, this is how I don't even get into any problems with people. Because I know that I had a one homie. His name was Malik. He had autism, and I met him like 3 years ago, and he was a cool ass nigga, man. Like, it's hella funny how all the people that are cool that always end up getting out of my life somehow. Like, he had to go his own way, but he was a cool ass nigga. That nigga was so funny, and he taught me a lot because he was kind of like the opposite of me in terms of intuition, because he had autism. So he wouldn't be able to read energy as much. So he'll always get into fights. I'll always have to like he'll cuss people out and he'll say the wrong thing because when you have that autistic ability or that type of mental behavioral whatever the fuck you call it, you can't read energy. So he will always get into fights and he'll always get into arguments. And I'd be like, how the hell do you get into arguments? But then I'll hang around him and he'll like talk to people he has no business talking to. And I'd be like, why are you talking to these people? Like, why? Like, but he will think everyone is a certain way, and he will like say the wrong thing. Like, I remember he went up to these, like, I don't know, it's just weird, man. He went up to these one females, and they were like in high school or something, and but he wasn't doing nothing weird. He just said something like friendly, but then we live in such a like there's a lot of miserable people in this world. A lot of people been through trauma. A lot of people are miserable. So the girls and the parents of the girl thought he was like doing something like something like people who do predatory shit would do. So they were like kind of attacking him, like, oh, stay away from these girls. But it wasn't even like that. But like I say, like we live in such a miserable, most people in this world are miserable. Most people in this world have been through trauma, have been through who have ego, because ego is trauma. So their perception. So he didn't know, like, you can't just talk to everyone, because when you're in this world, you have to have the intuition to know who's a miserable person. Like those people that he was talking to, they're miserable people. So the first thing that they picked up was, oh, he's doing something negative. They didn't look at it like he's just trying to be friendly. And then I had to explain to them like he has autism, like he's just being friendly, or but like, so they were trying to like I guess the dudes were trying to fight him. So I had to like tell him like, no, it's cool, it's cool. But there'd be other times he'd be getting into fights. He'd be saying shit. I remember we went into the store and fucking he wanted to buy something for like 50 cents. No, it was like $1 something. And then he asked the lady, hey, can you help me out with 50 cents? And she's like, you have money right there. He's like, yeah, I do, but I don't want to spend it. Like, I'm like, nigga, you don't say that. Like, you don't, you're supposed to just be like, oh, you make up a liar, but he didn't know. So it's like, shit's fun. That's what I'm saying. Because his intuition wasn't there. But it's funny though, because even though he had autism, he had more intelligence and common sense than most people I meet in real life. Like, it just the brain dysfunction wasn't allowing him to really process, like, be able to use his brain the way an average person can use it. But if that wasn't an issue, he actually has more intelligence and common sense than the average person. I have more deeper conversations with this nigga than the average person, like, to be honest, like, in terms of understanding, like people who could actually understand. Most people, they think they know shit, but they don't understand. They're not able to listen and understand. They can just talk shit and fucking relay information about stupid shit. They can't actually listen and understand and be able to bounce back a conversation. So that's why, like, and he had like a so-called autism and shit. So he was actually a cool ass nigga. But yeah, but I'm gonna drop the link. But we're gonna talk about mental illness. This is what we're gonna be talking about for a while, because mental illness is, what the fuck? It rejected my comment. I can't leave a. Oh, that's lame. They won't let me go live. Yeah, it won't let me go live. Well, you guys can go live, but you gotta have to. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It keeps saying YouTube rejected your comment. Usually they'll let you drop the StreamYard link. I don't know why they're not letting me drop it. Fuck these niggas. Guess they don't want me to go live with people today. Huh. There's a way I can do it. Whatever, I'll figure it out later. I'm not trying to waste my time doing this shit. Nobody's probably gonna join the link anyway, so I don't really give a fuck. But yeah, we're gonna talk about mental illness. This is gonna be the topic, probably for like the rest of the year, or the rest of this channel's existence, is trying to um fix mental illness, or not even trying to fix it. I'm not trying to fix shit. I'm not trying to help shit. I'm not trying to heal shit for anyone but myself. And by me, for myself and the people in my circle. So that's people in my real life. So, and if you're on the internet and you happen to be helped from what I have to say, that's good. But my main goal is not trying to help anybody but people in my real life. So that's my physical life, not just like internet, because the internet is fake, but in my real life, and me number one. So as I heal myself, then people in my real life, and then if anybody online sees that as an example and gets help, that's good. But like, this is what we have to do. The internet, I don't trust the internet. The internet is fake. It's AI. It's fake. It's not real. So that's why, like, I'm not trying to heal anyone, but mental illness does need to be spoken about because it's probably the biggest epidemic in life right now is mental illness, because everything stems from mental illness. Like everything: violence, crime, taxes, the education system, inflation, government leaders, the whole existence of a president, the whole existence even of a law enforcement agency, that stems from mental illness. Not only are the criminals have mental illness, which is why we need law enforcement. Law enforcement within itself is mental illness, because for criminals to exist, there has to be some type of corrupt system that was created before the criminal to manifest a criminal. Every crime that exists, the government created it and does it even worse. So theft, the government steals. Sex crimes, government does that on a whole higher level. Corruption, we know government does that. You name it, any crime. Fraud. What the fuck is a birth certificate? What's a driver's license? That's a fraudulent instrument that they forced you to get. And if you don't get it, they use their military and police force to enforce it on you and make your life hell if you don't want to play their game. So they create fraudulent instruments. But yet, if you create a fake driver's license, you go to jail. But then a driver's license within itself at DMV, that's fake. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's retarded. So everything, every crime, the government does even more. You guys got to understand that. So this is all mental illness. You see how deep mental illness goes? And mental illness is actually thinking that these things are normal. So you thinking it's normal. And I'm not saying you shouldn't go to DMV and get, we got to operate, because we got to operate like this, not because the government says so, but because so many people, which the people are the power, are agreeing to it. So if so many people have to agree to it, that's the only reason why we're actually doing these things, not because the government says it. Because you got to, this is why you have a trillionaire, a whole trillionaire that controls the so-called society. You can call them Illuminati, whatever. A whole fucking trillionaire that cares about what the average worker, laborer thinks. How are you a trillionaire, but yet you're still in the face of the people? That shows you that the people are more valuable than the government. It's like a person who's a bully tries to make the nerd feel like he's not important. But if he's not important, just mind your fucking business and go your own way and just go have fun. Like, why do you have to every day go to the nerd's face and tell him how cool you are and how lame he is? At some point, just shut the fuck up and just go be cool by yourself. Like, why do you have to keep reminding? So it shows you need the nerd's validation. The bully actually needs the nerd's validation to make him feel a certain way. So you actually need that nigga. Like, because if you were so important, you wouldn't even need him to validate you, to like you, or to not like you. Like, I seen this one loser ass nigga. Like, you know how we had Young Pharaoh? This was one loser ass nigga on here. He trolls Young Pharaoh and makes videos. And he said the reason he exposes Young Pharaoh is because he's trying to help Young Pharaoh, and Young Pharaoh's his friend. And this is the mental illness we have in this world. It's fucking crazy. I'm about to break it down for you guys. He said he's young Pharaoh's friend, and he trying to help young Pharaoh get his shit together and be in his kid's life. First of all, you can't be a friend to somebody who doesn't fuck with you. Young Pharaoh doesn't fuck with this nigga. If he's seen him in real life, he'll probably like go upside his fucking head. Like it will be bad on sight between young Pharaoh and this dude. So he's not your friend. You don't. If somebody doesn't like me, I don't like them. I'm not no Martin Luther King. I'm not Gandhi. I'm not, oh, I love my, and no, if you don't like me, I don't like you. It doesn't mean I'm going to hurt you or I'm going to disrespect you or I'm going to fight. It just, I don't like you. Stay the fuck out of my life. For him, though, it's a different story. He said Young Pharaoh's his friend. Young Pharaoh does not fuck with you. You've been trolling and disrespect. You called the jail on this nigga to get him thrown in jail, to keep him in jail. So you're trying to keep another nigga in jail in a system that doesn't like us. You're trying to keep him in there. Off the bat, that nigga don't fuck with you. So you're saying he's your friend and you care about him. It's not about you being friends or not being friends with him. It's about minding your business. So even if you were to go and give young Pharaoh $100 a day and you were going to actually call the jail to tell the jail to not arrest him, the fact of the matter is, why are you paying attention to another grown-ass man who you don't know in general? Why not just, it's not that you have to love him, be his friend, and it's not that you have to troll him. Why not just mind your business? If you walk down the street and you see an old lady, do you hate her? Do you love her? No, she's a stranger. You just got to walk by and be on about your day. Why is it different from young Pharaoh? So, and the reason I'm saying this because the reason he's trolling young Pharaoh has nothing to do with that. The reason he's trolling young Pharaoh has to do with his ego. Ego is trauma. Young Pharaoh hurt his feelings and triggered something in him. So now he can't let it go. So he has to troll him to maintain his ego, to maintain that trauma from festering and not allowing him to sleep at night and to keep young Pharaoh rent free in his head. Like, because young Pharaoh's living rent free. And so that's why he's trolling him. But he's trying to say he's trying to help him. No, you're not trying to help him. First of all, you have no right to hurt or help anyone. If you say I'm trying to help somebody, you're infringing upon them, just like if you're trying to hurt someone. You don't have a right to hurt no one. You don't have a right to help no one. Everyone likes to do it one way. Oh, you don't have a right to hurt this person. It's also opposite. You don't have a right to help somebody. If you get a restraining order on somebody, you can't go to that person's house and help them, nor can you go there and hurt them. You have to leave them the fuck alone. So just because you say, I'm trying to help young Pharaoh, does not give you an excuse to troll this nigga. How about just leave him the fuck alone and keep his name at your mouth? And if you don't, this is all on the pretense of you're obsessed with him. He triggered you. You're in your ego. Has nothing to do with you trying to help him, because what do you get out of trying to help him? And mind you, this nigga has kids and a fucking whole ass wife while doing this. I couldn't not imagine my dad when I was young, because I be seeing a lot of this. Is I say a lot of these millennials be weird, because they be having kids and wives and be trolling and be doing weird shit. And I'm like, I can't imagine my dad when I was young, like doing half the shit. Like, I imagine, like, that's why I say, imagine a kid nowadays having to have a dad who's like trolling another grown ass man on the internet. I don't understand how they'll be able to, because all of this shit's gonna be on the internet forever, isn't it? At least if that's what they say. So imagine when the kid grows up, sees his own dad like trolling somebody. That's some weird shit. So I don't know what the fuck's going on with society right now. Like I said, it's mental illness. Everything stems from mental illness. And this is something I'm going to be speaking on a lot more. And if you don't like it, you can just tune off my page, because that's really it. Like, got this one weird ass nigga on my fucking page last year. I'm not naming this nigga's name because I'm not trying to start no beef or nothing, but they know who they are. And I don't want to say it because I'm not trying to start no back and forth beef. That's the reason why I'm not saying it. But it was somebody who used to be on my page, and I don't fuck with them no more. And this motherfucker got upset. The same way JD Frye got upset, this nigga got upset. But the thing is, though, JD Fry was actually a real nigga. JD Fry was real. JD Fry actually was honest with himself. And I don't even have no disrespect on JD Fry. If he's watching this, shout out to JD Fry. I don't have no disrespect. If I seen him, I'll shake his hand and be, what's good, we cool. Like I don't have no problem with JD Fry at all. But um this other bitch ass nigga, the difference between him though is the difference between this individual is he has, like, they think that they're doing it right. JD Fry will actually know he has problems, whereas this individual thinks they're doing it right. But then when you look at their life, it's like they're trying to measure up to what they think they should be, and they're trying to beast that, not knowing that it's about being yourself. Like it's so weird. Like you can tell this person's confused. So when they see my video, they got offended. But it's like the reason you got offended by my video makes no sense, because you're not even doing anything in your life that's warranted to be offended by it. Like, so you just got offended just by the way I talk. There's no actual fundamental reason you got offended by my video other than the way I talk. So this how I know this nigga was a bitch ass nigga, because when you look at this person's life, they're not doing shit, but then they'll try to talk down upon people. Like that's what I say. Be careful of these people who talk about, oh, everybody in my chat is a bot. Not to say they aren't, but it's like, bitch, you a bot too. You just a bot on a different level. Like everybody in your chat is a bot, and you're a bot. You're just a different type of bot. Like, be on the lookout for people who always talk about like that. Like, everyone's a bot, or everyone ain't spiritual, or they always want to talk down on how everyone, not to say people aren't spiritual, not to say people aren't, but you have to look at it like, yeah, people aren't spiritual, but bitch, you ain't spiritual too. You're not special too. Like, yeah, he's not spiritual. They're bots, but you're not spiritual too, and you're a bot, but you're just a different type of bot. Like, you got people who are spiritual, who think they're spiritual. They may be less of a bot than the average person, but you still a bot. So I nip everybody in the same basket. Like, you niggas is all bitch ass niggas. Like, it's just different levels of it, and I'm able to see, like, just like somebody talking spiritual and Egyptian knowledge, you're a bitch ass nigga. But I put you in a certain category in the bot bitch ass nigga energy. Whereas somebody who just talks about sports and government politicians all day, they're a bot, but they're in a different category. But you still are in the bot category. You guys see what I'm saying? Like, so that's how I look at it. Everyone's a bot to me, damn near the way I see it. So you got to look at it from that perspective. I think I know why I think they did an update to StreamYard. That's why they're not letting me put the link in the thing. Yeah. Yeah, they're not letting me put the link. Whatever. Shit's crazy. funny. One thing good about being a breatharian is, as a breatharian, you really don't need shit. So